Hi folks, welcome to another video tutorial from yours truly, Mark Alderson. Today, a short tutorial or short instructional video on using absolute or relative cell referencing. And then I'm going to get you guys to create a spreadsheet that I'm going to show you, just as a collection of all the skills that you've used so far in the other video tutorials to see who's been listening and who hasn't. But first, let me get on with this. I want to show you, again, widgets, just as an example, the difference between relative cell referencing and absolute. Let me show you relative first, which is what you're used to. I've got widgets here, the amount I want to order, and each one's got a price. So the cost would be equal to the amount ordered multiplied by the price. And then we would go to autofill here, bottom right-hand corner, drag it down. And these hashtags are because the column isn't wide enough to show the data. Just widen the column a little bit. Yeah, that will sort that out. If you look at this up at the formula bar here, C6 times D6, C6, D6. If I come down each cell, keep watching the formula bar up here, C7 times D7, C8 times D8, C9 times D9. So Excel, when I used autofill, as in I'd done the first one, C6 times D6, and then I used autofill to carry it on. It knew that these numbers were relative to each other, and it just carried on incrementing both columns, C7 times D7, C8 times D8, etc., 9, 10, 11. Right, let's say for the VAT, I don't want to go in here every time and say that this equals this times 20%. Oh, I've made a mistake, hold on. E6 times 20%, that's better. And if I take that down, yeah, it works. It's doing relative. It's just taking the cell next to me and multiplying it by 20%. Let's say I was using VAT in a large spreadsheet in 2 or 3 different places. I would rather just have it up here, like I've got VAT 20%. Now note, these are in 2 separate cells, yeah? I'm going to show you absolute cell referencing, but for it to work, VAT has to be in one cell. It's just a label telling me what this figure is, and the 20% in another cell. The reason they're in 2 different cells is if you have them both together, it becomes alphanumeric to Excel, and you can't do calculations with letters. It's like saying Mark times Susan. You can't do it. So that's why they're in separate cells, so that it treats this as a number and allows me to do a calculation with it. So the VAT column, look, equals, and it equals my cost, multiplied by my 20%, click on it. Fine, I get the right answer, but watch what happens when I copy it down. It tries to do relative cell referencing because I've not told it otherwise. So it fails. Why did it fail? Look, first one's fine, E6 times K1. That's E6 there. That's K1 up here. The second one, E7, which is fine, that's E7, I want that. But K2, this is K2, it's got nothing in it. And this one's now referencing K3, which has got nothing in it. So what I need to do is make this part, the K1, stay the same for the whole thing. I want this side to increment. I want it to say E6, E7, E8, E9, etc. But the K1, I don't want it to do K1, K2, K3. I want it to stay as K1. So how do I do that? I put dollar signs in. Watch. I could type $K, $1, but there's a key for it, the F4 key at the top of your keyboard. Above the number keys, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you'll see you've got F keys, F1, F2, F3, etc. The F4 key will put dollar signs in for me. If you look at it now, it says $K, $1. And if I press return on that, now I can now take it down. That's an absolute cell referencing. An absolute cell referencing. Cell reference, couldn't get that out there. Why is this beneficial? Well, let's say I come into work tomorrow and VAT has went up to 25%. If I hadn't done it this way, absolute, I would have to go to everywhere in the spreadsheet that I had typed in 20% as a value and edit all these formulas, whereas now I can do this 25% up here. And if you watch all the figures, I'm pointing at the screen there, I think you can see me. If you watch all these figures when I press enter, they'll change to represent the new VAT percentage. So when you're doing this, rather than doing it, then going back in and making it absolute, do it as you're creating the formula. Watch. This cell equals, and it equals the cost, multiplied by the VAT, and press F4 now, then return. you'll see that it put the dollar signs in for me, like so. So that is the difference between relative cell referencing, like this one, where both columns increment. As I go down, you'll see the formula 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And this one, where only the left-hand side, the cost increments and the VAT stays at K1, which is up there, as you'll notice. Yeah, relative and absolute. Right, I'm going to show you a spreadsheet. And there's a task here. You can pause this at any time to read the instructions. I'm going to talk you through it anyway. All the stuff we've been doing in the last 2 or 3, 4 video tutorials I've been given for you. So we've got computer parts, part number, the part name, the part price, the number that we've ordered. In here, I want you to work out the cost price. So if I have got one mouse at £9.99 and I buy 15 of them, so I want the price of the 15 of them in here, 15 times part price, number ordered times part price will give me cost price. The VAT, I've just shown you how to work out VAT. The VAT is worked out on the cost price. There's my VAT up here. Yeah, you're going to make that absolute. The price including VAT is basically the cost price plus the VAT added together, gives me this. The comment is an if statement. Now the cut off is £1,000, so if any one part order is more than £1,000, it should say too expensive. Yeah. Another thing, the number ordered, these here, I want these data validated to be a drop-down list between 1 and 20. So I can select between 1 and 20 of each part if you look. Yeah. Oh yeah, conditional formatting. If it's price okay, I want it one colour. And if it's too expensive, I want it another colour. I use red and green. You've seen me doing it in the last video tutorial and in my registers. You choose colours, just make them contrasting colours that are opposite from each other, yeah? Here is your list of instructions here. Complete the cost column using an appropriate formula. Cost column, there, cost price. Complete the VAT column, next, that one. Complete the price including VAT column, that one. The comment, the if statement. The number ordered should be a drop-down data validated list from 1 to 20. That's why I've got that wee numbered list there. Conditionally format your if statement to be red or green or colours of your own choosing. Then create a column chart showing part name against part price and label the chart correctly. There's a completed chart. Correct heading. I've got my y-axis label, my x-axis label. I've got the names in here and I've got the prices up here. Yeah. And I've just chose one of these wee fancy formatted things, yeah. So that is your mission. When you're finished this spreadsheet, you should have a data sheet. You do not have to do this. You can just watch this part. If you understand it, fair enough. If you don't and you want a wee practice, fair enough, put another sheet in and have the practice sheet in there. But this is not required. You don't have to do this if you understand the concept that I've just shown you. I expect a spreadsheet though with the data sheet completed and the column chart completed. When you're finished, drop it into the exercise Dropbox on the My City page for this class. Thanks very much, and I'll see you in class.